Hello, game developers, Blender users, and whoever else is watching. This is a tutorial on how to install and use the Blender add-on Super Sprites. The goal of this plugin is to be the first step towards a workflow from 3D in Blender to 2D pixel art sprites, used in Hexablue and Unity engine. You should be able to get height map, normal maps, shadows, and reflections. When it comes together, it should look something like this. This plugin should be available on Gumroad with Pay What You Want as an option, and on the Blender Marketplace for a small price. How to install the plugin? Make sure you're running the latest stable version of Blender, and that you have downloaded the latest Super Sprite zip file. Installing the plugin is easy. You click Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, Install. Here you choose the zip file and press Install Add-on. Then you click the checkbox to make sure it's activated. I also recommend activating Material Utilities. It comes packed with Blender, so you can search here for it and make sure to click this checkbox. Now, if you expand this, you should be able to see some new tabs. Click on Super Sprite Renderer and click here to set up the scene. You should now get some options here. For now, I'm just going to click to choose a perspective and then move on to the shading tab. This plugin has a limited amount of materials and colors due to most of the work being done in the compositor. If you add an object, make sure it's put in the Objects to Render collection here. Then you can choose a material by holding Shift and pressing Q. Assign a pixel material here. To better see what you're working with, you can press here to display things better. You also need to press F12, and then you should be able to get an idea of what you're working with. In the future, this should be visible in the viewport as well, but for now you'll have to wait for renders. As you see here, you get sort of a rim light effect with shaded lines turned on. You also have a bit of dithering in one of the shades. You can choose to toggle materials on or off to save render times if they aren't used. Material 8 is the only transparent material. You can choose to only have lines on the inside of a model by enabling this checkbox. Now to rendering. If we go back to the rendering tab, you see a few options. This is to choose perspective. Here you can choose to render objects in more directions. Here you can choose which frames to render, where you want the location, and what sprites to export. You can export normal and height map alongside your albedo map. Make sure the shadowcaster is off when rendering other maps, since it will mess up line calculations. Last up is reflection. This process isn't automated, but might be in the future if enough people support the plugin. You might want to create backups before the next step. To get good reflection sprites, I suggest you create an empty object, make sure it's in Objects to Render collection, parent your objects that you want to have rendered to that empty object. Then you scale the empty -Z1. After that, you make sure to rotate your light sources. In this case, I want to make sure the pivot point is centered, and then rotate the y-axis by 180 degrees. Now you can select another folder for the reflection so you don't overwrite the original and press render. If you have any questions, want to give feedback, get support or show your artwork, you can most likely join the Discord. Links should be in the description.